touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hey all, Rick here from Hamilton Sports Central, and we're going to be starting with our first game of the last day of the season. We have the Montreal Alouettes at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And so we have some changes to the lineup. Tyler Sneed will not be playing, as well as Davis Alexander will not be playing. So that means that McLeod Bethel Thompson will be getting the start. Yes, top priority is keeping everyone healthy. So it'll be interesting to see how today's game goes, as this could be potentially a East semifinal game next weekend. We'll know by the end of today of where we sit, because I'm pretty sure if Winnipeg wins, because Calgary won last night, BC loses, BC comes over. But if BC wins, that means Winnipeg comes over. So it'll be interesting to see who wins where. But with Strever coming in, I don't think Bombers will win. Ed Brady's not playing either, so it's so Bombers have sold out every game this season. Let's go. Weekend. Hidden on a highway. Gonna catch a big one. Right. We will make Winnipeg home, since they're home. Montreal stats. And save that and put that on the ticker. So tomorrow, I'm going to be going live, and we are going to be discussing Toronto's off-season plans. Which reminds me, I got to see if Three Down came out with Edmonton's. Ooh, I got to read that later. Okay, so nothing about Edmonton's future free agents, so we got to wait on that. So Edmonton has fired Bob Dice today, so that's a good thing for Bomber fans. I mean, not Bomber fans. Red Black fans. Help secure the win, Hampton. Why did you scale the performance defense against the rush? Braxton Hill, Braxton, and Amos both had 2 interceptions. You know what? I want to see going into today's game. I want to see Montreal's receiving group. Okay, so Tyler Sneed's not playing. So Montreal will only have 1,000-yard receiver. Okay. Winnipeg will also only have 1,000-yard receiver group. Toronto does not have one. Saskatchewan has 2. Ottawa has 2. Edmonton has none. Calgary has none. And BC has 2. And our beloved Ticats have 3. So that tells you a lot. Rod Smith and Dwayne Ford is doing today's early game, which makes you think that Glenn Suter is doing the evening game, which we will also be live streaming here today. There, that's better. Or do we want... No, let's go this way, because then I can see player stats. Maltos kicks off for 64 yards to Winnipeg 16. Peyton Logan with a 28-yard return. See if I can... There we go, that's better. So that everyone can see it on screen. Strevler. Peterson rushes for 11 yards to Winnipeg 55, so that's a first down Bombers. Comes in with a 3-1 record, 6 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. So I'll be expecting a lot of throwing from Strevler today. Micah Vanderpool. Stanley Brand's not playing. Ooh, Eccles is playing today. Strevler to Matthew Peterson for a 13-yard pass to Montreal 42. Beverett with the tackle. Peterson rushes for 2 yards to Montreal 40. So it's the Matthew Peters show. Actually, you know, I need to change this. Piermont Monopop. I apologize if I butcher that. Let's go Alouettes. I mean, now that we have the East tied up, I picked Montreal to win this week, so let's hope that the Montreal Alouettes win this week. We got to change this because this is now first quarter. So Strevler throws incomplete to Eccles, so it's going to be 3rd and 8 from the 40. and almost intercepted. So let's. Sergio Castillo kicks a 48-yard field goal to make it 3-0 Bombers. Change this to. So McLeod Bethel Thompson's going to be starting after this commercial break. So this will be interesting to see how well. Battle of the backups. Strebler against McLeod Bethel Thompson. Peterson. 1 reception. 15 yards. Eight. Then over here we have Murray, Rat, Berglund. What the heck is his name? One tackle. Save. I still think that with most of Montreal starters, except for Sneed and Alexander, that Montreal will do well. Do I have faith in McLeod getting a win? Probably not, but he has a 3-4 record, 1,564 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, 66% completion, and he's 3-1 on the road. So it's quite possible. McLeod Bethel Thompson passes to Scott III for 11 yards to Montreal 11, tackled by Demario Houston. Stevie Scott III rushes for 3 yards to Montreal 54. So it's going to be 2nd and 7. Woods with the tackle. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Tyson Philpott. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 from the Montreal 54. Zima punts. To 49 yards to Winnipeg 7. Peyton Logan returns it for 12 yards to Winnipeg 19. And Richards with the tackle. Oh, Straveler looks to be injured. Straveler looks to be hurt. Straveler is going to be hurt, so then that's... So that would mean that their... Wilson would be their backup. If he comes out. Oh, not looking good for Chris Straveler. So Chris Straveler goes down with a knee injury on the second possession. Well, first play in the second possession anyways. So now Terry Wilson comes in. And so there's a non-contact injury while trying to dodge an oncoming rusher. Okay. Terry Wilson, time to see what you got, my friend. So, this went from Straveler starting to Montreal not dressing Alexander because Hamilton won last night, so why risk him before the playoffs? To then play McLeod, Bethel Thompson. Now Straveler gets injured, and now Wilson. So one pass in the regular season he's thrown. So he hasn't really done anything in the league. So this is a fresh look. So Wilson, pass incomplete to Peterson. So that Straveler thing must have been an incomplete. Well, no, because he went to go rush. He probably didn't get any yards. You just had someone on the sidelines yell the F word, and you could hear it through the audio on TSN. Sheehan punts it for 50 yards to the Montreal 51. Philpott returns it for 6. So he starts off at Montreal 47. Still trying to get my voice back from the Ticat game. Oh, McLeod Bethel Thompson just threw an interception to Tony Jones, returns it for 15 yards. The real McLeod Bethel Thompson has stood up. Let's hide this and edit this. Interception. Save. Peterson rushes for 2-yard loss, so it's a Montreal 37, so it's 2nd and 12. Wilson throws to Stearns for 22 yards to Montreal 15. So it's 1st and 10 at the Montreal 15. And he's 2 for 3 for 34 yards. Wilson throws to Stern for 12 yards to Montreal 3. Deontay Evans with the tackle. Wilson throws an interception in the end zone. Marc-Antoine Dequoy with the interception. Okay. Back-to-back interceptions. Two for 34 yards. 1 interception. Stearns. $34 yards. And let me go over here. See. Such third lines and 2 tackles. Save. Appreciate the 15 people that are here viewing the stream. Muchly appreciated. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Show some brothers some love. As we finish off today's last week of the season with a double live stream. We have this one from 3 to 5:30. Then we'll be back at 7 for the BC at Saskatchewan game. McLeod, Bethel Thompson passes to Kaibanosu for 1 yard to the Montreal 6. Evan Holm with the tackle. 2nd and 9 from the Edmonton 6. Sibasu. McLeod, Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Alexander Hollins. So he's 2nd and 5. For 12 yards. And we have Evan Holm. Steam punts 45 yards to the Montreal 51. Peyton Logan with a 7-yard return to the Montreal 44. Richards with a tackle. Woods on the tackle. Save. Wilson comes back out to lead the game 3-0. And hopefully we will see how things go. I always hated this music. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. So, this game here, it basically, Montreal's just getting some work and some reps in. Edmonton is, not Edmonton. Let me go back here for a second. So Montreal's just getting work in because they already have 2nd. They can't go any farther. They can't go up anywhere down. Winnipeg is battling to see if they're going to stay in the West or if they're going to cross over to the East. Wilson sacked for 6 yards to the Montreal 50. Oakman with the sack. Wilson throws incomplete to Stearns, broken up by Decoy, to Montreal 32, and nearly intercepted again. So Shahan will come on and punt the ball away. Oh, no, Shahan's not going to come out. Castilla's going to go for another field goal. Okay, this is a 58-yard field goal attempt. And he misses. So Rambo returns it for 12 yards to Montreal 6. So they will be first and 10 from Montreal 6. So let's grab 2-5. Scott the third rushes for 2 yards to Montreal 8. And give me 1 second. Montreal here. So McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Austin Mack for a first down at the Montreal 18. Okay, so I'm just going to fix this. So 1 for 2. Yes. Oops. Yes. Save. So Stevie Scott the third rushes for 7 yards to Montreal 27. So it's going to be 2nd and 3. And then Stevie Scott rushes for another 6 yards to the Montreal 31. Evan Holmes with the tackle. So it's going to be a first down for Montreal at the Montreal 31. Any update on Strevler, Jim says. So, Jim, so the thing is, when I've seen Strevler come off, 3 Down was saying that it was a non-contact injury, and you had 2 trainers carry them off under each arm. I'm going to see if I have... once I find out, and once I hear an update, then I will let everyone know what the update is. But as of right now, Wilson's in the game. McLeod Bethel Thompson passes to Austin Mack for 4 yards to the Montreal 35. Holmes. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Tyson Philpott for 7 yards to the Montreal 42. Terry Jones with the tackle, first down. Stevie Scott the third rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 48. Demario Houston with the tackle. Stevie Scott getting busy. So it'll be 2nd and 4 from the Montreal 48. Chances are the whole Chris Streveler thing, you probably won't see an update till like halftime. Stevie Scott the third rushes for another 5 yards to the Montreal 53. First down for Montreal to end the quarter. So it's 3-0 Winnipeg after the first quarter. So that's... Oops. Second 5:34. Peters, 3 carries. Or the White Horse. Funny. T. Jones. Houston. And go to Montreal side. Okay, he's 5 for 8. 34 yards, 1 interception. Carries 20 yards. Two receptions, 15. And then we have Evans and Berglund, 2 tackles, and Oakman has a sack. Brilliant. So they took Berglund's sack off the board. Okay. Save that and get that going. So five first downs for Montreal, 4 for Winnipeg. 33 passing yards for Montreal, 47 for Winnipeg. 29 rushing yards for Montreal, 15 for Winnipeg. 62 net yards for Montreal, 56 for Winnipeg. One turnover for each game. And Rod Smith has just said that it was a bad knee injury and that Chris Streveler will most likely be out for the rest of the game. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Speaker for 25 yards to Winnipeg 32. Allen with the tackle, first down for Montreal. McLeod Bethel Thompson passes to Philpott for 12 yards to Winnipeg 20. Jamal Parker with the tackle, first down for the Alouettes. Stevie Scott the third rushes for 3 yards to the Winnipeg 17. Woodley with the tackle, so it's going to be second and 7 at the Winnipeg 17. Mikhail Bethel-Thompson throws incomplete to the Winnipeg end zone. It doesn't say who it was. We'll see in a second. Oh, so he just threw it out of bounds. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 at the Winnipeg 17. So Maltos will be coming out for a field goal. Yes, I know Coach A's not their kicker anymore. It's just the video that I have. So, edit. So let's go to his 7 for 11. So still no touchdowns yet. I don't think we're going to get many touchdowns thrown in this game. 7, 31. Okay, so reception for 25. Let's go over this side. Okay. Jones and Parker. Save. So now with Maltos kicking the 25-yard field goal to tie the game, Winnipeg's going to start on their 40-yard line. Most field goals in one season, Jose Maltos Diaz just set the record for 56 field goals in a season. Matthew Peterson rushes for 6 yards to the Winnipeg 46. Najee Murray with the tackle. Oh, Wilson throws incomplete to Cam Eccles. And number 96, I want to say that is for the Alouettes, is injured on the play. Ruffin broke up the pass. So it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the Winnipeg 46. So Shahan will come on and kick the punt. Ujiak is how I think it's pronounced, is the injured player on the field. And it is for Montreal. Oh, Udoak. Sheehan's standing back at his 30, or Winnipeg 30. And there's a flag on the play. So Rambo catches it at the Montreal 25. So the flag came out at the snap of the ball, so it'll be interesting to see what the penalty is. So Montreal was offside. So Rambo returned it 6 yards to Montreal 5, or Montreal 30. So because Montreal was offside, Winnipeg offense goes back on the field to the Winnipeg 51. So they get a first down. Not too shabby. Matthew Peterson rushes for 8 yards to the Montreal 51. DeQual with the tackle. Matthew Peterson rushes for 8 yards to, that's a, Johnson's on Montreal, and he's now the injured Alouette on the play. Mustafa Johnson, this is the second defensive lineman in like 3 plays that's been injured for the Alouettes. We have a TV timeout as they're dealing with that injury. They not have one today. Yeah, 3, okay. Oh, it's tomorrow. Keep in mind, next week's East and West finals, they changed the times. due to the World Series. So the East final will now be at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and the West semifinal will be at 5:30 instead of 6:30, and 2 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. And again, I will be live streaming both of those games next week. So Wilson rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 40. 2 yards to Montreal 49. Sankey with the tackle. So Wilson passes to Wheatfall. Oh, and there's flags on the play. Montreal got an unnecessary roughness penalty, so it's a 15-yard penalty at the end of the play. So it was for a 13-yard pass. Okay, so they recalled the penalty because they're saying that the Winnipeg player was still in bounds. So it's still first down. They just don't get the extra 15 yards. Matthew Peters rushes for 1 yard to the Montreal 35, so it's 2nd and 9. Wilson passes to Eccles for 9 yards to the Montreal 26. So it's going to be 3rd and inches at the Montreal 26. So it's going to be interesting if they bring in the backup for the short yardage or if Terry Wilson's going to do the short yardage. Okay, so that answers my question. Terry Wilson rushes for 2 yards to the Montreal 24. Dylan Wynn with the tackle. So it's going to be first down, Winnipeg. Terry Wilson is sacked for 12 yards to the Montreal 36. DeQual with the sack. Wilson passes to Peterson for 2 yards to the 34. So it's going to be 3rd and 20 from the Montreal 34. So Castillo's going to be coming out for his 3rd field goal of the day, and he's 1 for 2 so far on the day. He's made a 48. So Sergio Castillo's made a 42-yard field goal, so that makes it a 6-3 lead for Winnipeg. So we'll check this out. It's 5 for 9, 8, 6 carries for 30 yards. Aaron's okay, and defense is still the same, except for 2 for 3, and this one is 42. And Dakota now has 1 sack. Oakland has a sack. Archibald. Dequa, 2 tackles. Yep. Mm. 14 straight sellouts since 2024. T. Evans rushes for 11 yards for Montreal to the Montreal 51. First down, Montreal. Shane Gauthier with the tackle. Evan rushes for 5 yards to Winnipeg 54, so it's going to be 2nd and 5 for Montreal with Ayers with the tackle. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Tyson Philpott. It'll be Winnipeg 51, so it will be 3rd and 5 at the Winnipeg 54. So Zima punts 57 yards to Winnipeg 3, out of bounds at the Winnipeg end zone. So it's going to be a single. So it's 6-4 now. So Winnipeg is only down by 2, or Winnipeg's only up by 2. Wilson throws incomplete to Cochran, broken up by Ento at the Winnipeg 46. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the Winnipeg 40. Oh, Ento almost had that interception on that play. He could have been gone for a pick 6. Terry Wilson passes to Matthew Peterson for 7 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 3 at the Winnipeg 47. Beverett with the tackle. Across the 45. Shy of a first down. Appreciate the 34 people that are viewing the stream right now. Muchly appreciated. Oh. There's a flag on the play, on the punt. There's a timeout called by Montreal. I guess it would have been a timeout violation. Because they probably didn't have... Okay, so now... Sheehan punts for 46 yards to Montreal 17. Rambo returns for 16 yards to Montreal 33. Terry Jones with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Montreal 33. Oh, snap. Okay. McLeod, Bethel Thompson goes to throw it. It was incomplete, but there's defensive pass interference coming up on Winnipeg's. C. Allen for 13 yards from the Montreal 33 to the Montreal 46. Because it's the spot of the foul. So they're already in. So they're already up 13 yards. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Montreal 46. As we head to commercial, let's go update the Winnipeg track side of the tracker. 6 and 11, 65. Peterson, 6 for 30. Sternstall at 34. Save. Let's open this up. Let's see if announcements. So 2:44 left to go until halftime. So McLeod passes to Phil Pott for 6 yards to Montreal 52. And then McLeod, Bethel, Thompson throws incomplete to Phil Pott on the Winnipeg 18 or 17. So it will be 3rd and 4 at the Montreal 52. So Zemo will be most likely coming in for the punt. Zemo punts 47 yards to Winnipeg 11. Peyton Logan with the return of 8 yards to Winnipeg 19. And Peterson rushes for 3 yards, gain to the Winnipeg 22. Oakman with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 from the Winnipeg 20. Wilson passes to Eccles for 0 yards to the Winnipeg 22. Robert Kennedy, I think it's Robert Kennedy, with the tackle. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 from the Winnipeg 22. So Sheehan will be coming in for the punt. Okay, so it is Robert Kennedy. Okay. Sheehan punts 47 yards to the Montreal 41. Rambo return 8 yards to the Montreal 49. Ayers with the tackle. So Alexander will take his record of unbeaten into next season because now it says regular season ending playoffs don't matter as towards that record. So he's 11-0. Oh, so McLeod threw it to. So McLeod threw it to Philpott. Philpott fumbled it as he was going down, and then the Cam Allen returns it, recovers it, and picks it up and runs it back for 42 yards to the Montreal 19. So now let's see if his knee was down first. No, so it is a fumble. So Matthew Peterson rushes for 4 yards to the Montreal 15. Dylan Wynn with the tackle. Okay, so Evan Holmes forced the fumble. Last time they were this deep in the end zone, Wilson threw an interception. So let's see. Hopefully Wilson gets a touchdown this time. Wilson rushes for 14 yards to the Montreal 1. Ento with the tackle. First down and goal from the Montreal 1 yard line. Let's try this one. That one's not there. So Terry Wilson rushes for 0 yards. So it's 2nd and 1. And then Wilson goes to try again, and he still doesn't get in. So it's 3rd and 1. I am looking. Oh, they're saying so it's a touchdown on the 3rd try. So let's throw this up here. Reeling on the field is a touchdown. So that is 13-4 for Winnipeg. So Ed Joe Canadian. So depends. If you have a VPN and you go to the States or you go to Europe, you can watch it on CFL.ca for CFL Plus. If you watch it in Canada, unfortunately, you got to deal with TSN on TV. But if you have a VPN, you can watch it for free on CFL Plus, which is what I'm doing on my iPad. So let's go. Go back here. Seven for 12. Oh. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's honestly what I do, is because I always have VPN on my PC, TV, iPads, all my devices. If you live in the US or Europe and you don't need a VPN, you can just go on to CFL Plus. It will ask you for your first and last name, email, and the team that you support, and then you just got to click on the game that you want to watch. The game will be on there for 48 hours, but if you need to, I know someone on YouTube that does the games and takes out the commercials, and yesterday's games are already up on YouTube already. So it is halftime, so let's go and update our tracker. She has 8 carries for 37. We got to throw G. Wilson in here. 6 carries for 19. There's 1 touchdown. Oops, 1 touchdown. Stearns is still the rushing leader. Parker's the leader for tackles. Tony Jones has a lone interception. Okay, and now let's go to Montreal. $731.25. So it's actually Phil Pont now, and she has 4 for 37. Ockman has 1 sack. Dubois, 1 sack. Ockman with 3 tackles. So let's go look at team stats. So Montreal's thrown 15 passes for 89 yards, an average of 5.9. Winnipeg has thrown 14. Oh, you know what? Before I continue that. Let's put on the tracker. Halftime. Okay. So Winnipeg has 14 passes for 78 yards, 5.6, almost roughly the same amount. Montreal has 9 rushes for 47 yards, 52.2 on average, whereas Winnipeg has 15 carries for 56 yards, 3.7. Winnipeg has 2 team losses for 19 yards. Net offense for Montreal is 24 plays for 136 yards, 5.7. Winnipeg has 31 plays for 15 yards and 3.7 on offense. First down, we have 5 rushes, 3 passes, 1 penalty for Montreal. Winnipeg has 4 rushes, 5 passes, and 1 penalty for a first down. Montreal's 2 sacks for 19 yards. Montreal's 4 for 9 for 44.4%. Whereas Winnipeg is 3 for 12 for 25%. Montreal has 1 fumble and 1 interception for a giveaway, whereas Winnipeg only has 1 interception. Montreal has 1 fumble for 1 fumble loss. Winnipeg has none. Montreal has 1 penalty for 5 yards. Winnipeg has 1 penalty for 13 yards. Montreal's 0 for 1 in the red zone. And Winnipeg is 1 for 2 for 50 yards in the red zone. Montreal's 1 interception for 13 yards. Winnipeg is 1 interception for 11 yards. 1 fumble return for Montreal. And 1 fumble return should be a fumble return for Winnipeg, not Montreal, as Winnipeg returned 42 yards on that fumble return. Montreal is 1 for 1 for 25 yards for his longest. Winnipeg is 2 for 3 for the field goals for 48 yards is Sergio Castillo's longest. 4 punts for Montreal for 198 yards, 49.5 on the average. 3 punts for 143 yards for Winnipeg's average of 47.7. 3 punt returns for 30 yards, average of 10 for Montreal. 3 punts for Winnipeg, 28 yards, average of 9.3. 1 kickoff for Montreal for 14 yards. 1 kickoff return for Winnipeg for 28 yards. 1 field goal missed return for 12 yards for Montreal. And then Montreal has 13 minutes and 7 seconds for time of possession. And Winnipeg has 16 minutes and 53 seconds for Winnipeg. As I will be back, because I'm going to use the bathroom, but I will be back and we will continue on with the news that broke earlier out of Ottawa. So give me 1 moment. So, the big news out of Ottawa earlier today is head coach Bob Dice has been fired after, I think, 3 years. Let me pull it up here. So he's been the head coach for the last 3 years. 16 to 22, he was a special teams coordinator. So from 22 to 25, he was 1-3 because he probably took over halfway through the season. Missed the playoffs. 23, he was 4-14. Missed the playoffs. Last year he was 9-8-1. Finished third, lost in the semifinals. And this year he's 4-14. Again, missed the playoffs. So if my math is correct, since 2019, since 2019, just before COVID, Ottawa has been 25, 76 or 77 and 1 since 2019. So, and Sean Burke is back as GM. So it will be interesting to see who the head coach does become, because then that means that Tommy Condell, who is a former offense coordinator who I cannot stand, he may be out of a job too, because whoever the head coach is will be bringing in his own staff as a coaching staff. So it'll be interesting to see. So he was receivers coach in 03 to 09. Receivers coach for Saskatchewan in 10 to 11. Offense coordinator in 12. And then 13 to 15, he was the Rough Riders special teams coordinator. Interim coach in 15. And then with Ottawa. Dubois wouldn't even look fans in the eye or shake their hands because he feels ashamed. He's the fullback for Ottawa. So if Ottawa misses the playoffs next year, you can bet that Sean Burke will not be back next year. And that's the other thing is Drew Brown hasn't been healthy. So, I mean, what are you going to do with that? There's going to be a lot of things that's going to have to happen this offseason for that team. So free agency is going to be interesting, and I will be here to cover it from 8 a.m., I think it was, to like 8 p.m. or 11 p.m., whatever it was this year. It will be interesting to see who they have come in as their head coach. So with them firing Bob Dice gets to sit at home. And make money and do nothing. Oops. BC Lions still have a lot to prove and see what if they host or if they're going to be on the road. Oops. Edit. It does. Oh. There you go. No, it does exist. Log on. What do you mean? Oh. Authorize. Do 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 do. While we wait. Okay, so we're going to start with our second half. Third quarter, not second half. Quarter. Flag's already out already after Castillo kicks off for 60 yards to Montreal 20, out of bounds at the Montreal 20. So Winnipeg gets an illegal kick out of bounds. So they're going to be moving the ball up more, or they're going to ask for a re-kick. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Austin Mack for 8 yards to the Winnipeg 52, so it's going to be 2nd and 2. And Jesse Gibbons, the offensive lineman for Montreal, is the injured Alouette on the play. we want to show the ticker. Evans rushes for 3 yards to the Winnipeg 49. Jamal Woods with the tackle. And then Evans rushes again for 3 yards to Winnipeg 46. Ayers with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 from the Winnipeg 46. Each platform. McLeod Bethel Thompson passes to Evans for 8 yards to Winnipeg 26. Before that, McLeod Bethel Thompson passed to Austin Mack for 12 yards to Winnipeg 34. So now we are second and 2 from the Winnipeg 26, and then Shea Patterson rushes for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 26. So Smith with another tackle. So it's 3rd and 1 at the Winnipeg 26. So Shea Patterson rushes for another 1 yard rush to Winnipeg 24, and he gets the first down. Just pull this up. So McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Phil Potts. Incomplete, so it'll be 2nd and 10. So McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Alexander Hollins at the Winnipeg 6. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the Winnipeg 24. And Jose Maltos Diaz kicks a 32-yard field goal to make it 13-7. I will be right back. Okay, so I need this. Oh. So Peterson rushes for 4 yards to the Winnipeg 44. Josh Archibald with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 6 from the Winnipeg 40. And then Wilson rushes for 10 yards to the Winnipeg 54. Beverett with the tackle. And it's going to be a 1st down Winnipeg at the Winnipeg 54. So, sure. Just So Matthew Peterson rushes for 9 yards to the Montreal 47, and then Wilson rushes for 1 yard to the Montreal 46. It's going to be a first down Winnipeg. Terry Wilson throws to Cobb for 7 yards to the Montreal 39, out of bounds. Najee Murray with the tackle. So let's do the Montreal ticker update. 12 and 20. 117. 31 yards. Philpott still has 37. Okay. Oakman has Sankey, Oakman, Murray, Beverett, Archibald. Archibald. And Oakland. Safe. Wilson threw it pass incomplete to Cobb, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the Montreal 35. And then Terry Wilson sacked for 7 yards to the Montreal 42. Archibald with the sack. Ooh. Castillo kicks a second field goal, or his 4th field goal, and it's no good. So Montreal. So because he kicks it and it's no good, let's see how it's. Oh, and it hits the upright. So, with that being said, Montreal starts on their 42 already because of that missed field goal. So let's go and fix this up. It had the difference, but it hit the upright. So we need this 8 for 14, 72 yards, 1 interception. He has 11 carries for 54 yards. So that's 8 for 30. 1 touchdown. Okay. Still at 34 for Stearns. So we have Smith, Ayers, Parker, Houston, 3 tackles. And he's 2 for 4. 50-yard miss. Save. Show. There we go. Okay, so Evans rushes for 2 yards to the Montreal 32. So it looks like Stevie Scott is done for the day. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to to Philpott at the Montreal 35. So it's 3rd and 8. So let's go here. Go here. Okay, so so the thing is, how do I? Okay, I'll have to do it this way. Zima punts 51 yards to the Winnipeg 27. Peyton Logan returns for 10 yards to the Winnipeg 37. "22 days away to the CFL Grey Cup." Oh, no. Okay. Peterson rushes for 14 yards to the Winnipeg 51, first down. Flags out on the second down and 10. Procedure, Winnipeg. Mr. Micah Vanderpool, 51. So he goes from the 51 to the Winnipeg 46. It is, so before that was a 0-yard rush from Matthew Peterson. So it is a 2nd and 15. Fukov, really, it is 13-7 for the score. So it looks like there's a fumble. And now they're fighting for the ball. So now we just got to see who has the ball. So Calgary won last night. If Winnipeg wins this, BC has to win tonight, which I'll be live streaming at 7. If BC wins, Winnipeg gets the crossover. If BC loses, BC gets the crossover. So Terry Wilson passes it to Matthew Peterson for 5 yards, fumbles it, forced by Cantu Arku, recovers by Najee Murray. So now Montreal is now 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 51. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. Ooh, ah, I wanna know would be my girl. "22 days until the Grey Cup." McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Rambo for 22 yards to Winnipeg 29. Jamal Parker with the tackle. McLeod Bethel Thompson passes to Tyson Philpont for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 28. Shane Gauthier with the tackle, so it's 2nd and 9 from the Winnipeg 29. So that will end the third quarter. So now we are starting the fourth quarter, which is make it or break it for these teams because, well, Montreal it won't because Montreal is already hosting the semifinals next week. It's a matter of what Winnipeg does in the next quarter. If Montreal scores here, then it will be 14-13 and Winnipeg will have to score. If Montreal doesn't score here and they only get a field goal, well, then it will be 13-10 with 15 minutes to go in the game. $112th Grey Cup already. Reggie Beckleton. Oh, it could be the black horse or the white horse because Stampeders mascot is a horse and it's Fast 6 and it's a white. Well, we have TV commercial. Let's go edit Winnipeg's stats for the tracker. Since we are 77, Peterson has 13 for 68. Everything's still the same. So we got a quarter left in this game, and then still one more game tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is in an hour and 45 minutes, which I'll also be live streaming, with the first place in the West Saskatchewan Roughriders playing host to the BC Lions, who we will have to see. So after three quarters, Montreal has 13 first downs. Winnipeg has 14. Montreal's 140 passing yards. Winnipeg has 90. Montreal has 57 rushing yards. Winnipeg has 98. Montreal has 197 net yards. Winnipeg has 162. Can I not? See, I wish I could move this over here. So under my face where it's black, it would be able to show up better. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Evans at the Winnipeg 30 for 1 yard to the 27. So it'll be 3rd and 8 at the 27. So they will be kicking another field goal. So Maltos has kicked a 32, 25, and 32. Okay, so I missed that. Oh. Winnipeg has called the timeout. Altos. So 3 for 3, 25, 35, and 32. Photos. McLeod, Bethel, Thompson. $141. Scott 731. Phil Potts 5. Wow, Phil Potts 5 for 11, man. Like, that is crazy. So Wilson starts on his 40 because Montreal kicked a field goal. Matthew Peters rushes for 6 yards to the Winnipeg 46. Wilson passes to Cobb for 0 yards, and then Sheehan punts for 48 yards to the Montreal 16. Rambo returns for 11 yards to the Montreal 27. So 12-18 left in the fourth quarter. Montreal's down by 3. So as of right now, with that 12-18 left in the fourth quarter, Montreal controls their fate as to who they play in the playoffs. If Montreal wins, they'll be playing Winnipeg next week in Montreal at 2:30 next Saturday, which I will be live streaming. If Winnipeg wins, that would then all depend on what happens in BC, and BC could potentially be the crossover. So it all depends on what happens the rest of this game and the game in an hour and a half on YouTube, X, Twitch. Oh, that's what I gotta add here. Follow on. Bethel Thompson throws to Rambo for 13 yards to the Montreal 40. Evans rushes for 4 yards to the Montreal 4-4. Jamal Woods with the tackle. So it's 2nd and 6. McLeod, Bethel Thompson sacked for 5 yards to the Montreal 39. Jenkins with the sack, so it's going to be 3rd and 11. So Zima punts for 55 yards. Peyton Logan returns for 5 yards to the Winnipeg 21. Illegal block Winnipeg for number 39 Smith. 10 yards from the Winnipeg 10 to the Winnipeg, or from the 20 to the 10. So Trey Wilson pass incomplete to Jared Stearns to the Winnipeg 15, broken up by Oakman. Terry Williams passes incomplete to Cedric Wheatfall. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 from the Winnipeg 10-yard line. So they're going to be, Sheehan's going to be coming out and punting again. And we have a comment from Deep Punch 0143. Last round. Last round of this game, yes. Or last quarter. Shan's waiting for the game clock to go down so then he can punt. They run into the kicker. Is that a flag? It is a flag. Sheehan's slow getting up. So Sheehan punts for 50 yards to the Winnipeg 50. Rambo returns it for 11 yards to the Winnipeg 49. Ayers with the tackle. And Montreal gets roughing the passer. Oakman, 15 yards from the Winnipeg 10 to Winnipeg 25. First down Winnipeg as they ran into the kicker. So it's 1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 25. Jason Moss was pissed on the sideline with that penalty. Matthew Peterson rushes for 2 yards to the Winnipeg 27. So it's going to be 2nd and 8. That doesn't make sense. Okay, they screwed that up because Peterson rushed for a loss of 22 yards. Yeah, I know. That's not a thing. We're going with this one here because I just seen it on the screen. Terry Wilson throws incomplete to Wheatfall to the Winnipeg 35, broken up by Ento. So basically, you get the penalty, you move up 15 yards, you rush for 2, and now you're going to punt it again. So we will see how things go. Sheehan punts for 45 yards to the Montreal 38. Charleston Rambo returns for 8 yards to the Montreal 46. Shea with the tackle. Montreal has 8 minutes and 5 seconds to either score a field goal or a touchdown. Field goal will tie it and send it to overtime. Touchdown will win. Actually, you know what? I want to put in the banner, Winnipeg is, what are they, 9 standings. What are they, 9 and 8? 9 and 8. And Montreal is 10 and 7. So there we go. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Austin Mack. And so we're going to go over here and update this while this is going on. $10 for $19. $15, and he has 76. 34 yards. So Ayers to Parker out. 4 tackles. Save. McLeod Bethel Thompson sacked for 5 yards to the Montreal 41. Jaworski with the sack. So Montreal has 3 sacks. Bombers have 2. Zima punts 49 yards to the Winnipeg 20. Peyton Logan returns for 13 yards to the Winnipeg 33. Lemieux Cardinal with the tackle. It's going to come down to like the last 3 minutes, I'm telling you. Because if these two teams are just going to throw 2 passes or rushes, kick it back, it's going to turn ugly. So I think they have, so Jaworski and who do I have? Jaworski and who has the other one? No. Other one is Jenkins. It's 1 sack. Okay. Oh, I had it backwards. So it's Houston, Parker, and Ayers. 4 tackles. McLeod is 16 and 26. 154. Oops. 154. 38. That's Murray and Archibald. Anytime I go sack, do. Todd Dequoy and Archibald. 1 sec. Oh. Dequoy. Dequoy. An interception. Michael Krasik for 65 yards to the Montreal 12. He was drafted in this past year's draft. So he's their fullback. Chris Van Eyck rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 9, so it's 2nd and 7 from the Montreal 9. Sean Oakman with the tackle. .5:49 left. Oh, as the clock keeps on. So we're just under 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Oh. Terry Wilson throws the Cobb, and it's incomplete. But there's a pass interference on Najee Murray for 9 yards or 8 yards. So it'll be placed at the 1 yard line for first down. Oh, he tugged on his jersey. So Montreal is challenging the ruling on the play. Another look at the play. Oh. How that's not defensive pass interference, I have no idea. This will be the deciding factor. And oh, wow. They tugged on the jersey, and they say that that's not defensive pass interference. Wow. So Sergio Castillo kicks a 17-yard field goal. So it makes it 16-10. Montreal just needs to score a field goal to win. Where are we? Oh. Castillo is 3 for 5. So McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10, and then throws incomplete, so it'll be 3rd and 10. So, Calgary won last night. Winnipeg wins. BC has to win to get the home playoff spot. BC loses. Winnipeg goes to Calgary. BC goes to Montreal. And then Hamilton plays the winner, BC Montreal. So Zima punts 37 yards to Winnipeg 33. Hallett returns for 4 yards out of bounds, but Montreal gets a 15-yard no yard penalty from Gagne. So it goes from Winnipeg 37 to Winnipeg 52. Chris Ike rushes for a 4-yard loss to Winnipeg 48. Wilson throws to Chris Ike for 2 yards. So it's 13 and 12, 3rd and 12 to the Winnipeg 50. So it's the 3-minute warning. NFL has the 2-minute warning. CFL has the 3-minute warning. So now Sheehan will be punting it to Montreal. And then Montreal has 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Well, I mean, they still have to punt first. But once they punt, it'll probably be what? 2 minutes, 30 seconds to get that touchdown. I appreciate all 40 people that are here right now viewing today's stream. We got 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in this game. They just changed it from 3rd and 12 to 3rd and 7, and I'm not sure why. Because if he lost 4, that would make it 2nd and 14, and then he gains 2, that's 12, not 7. So Sheehan punts 59 yards to the Montreal 2. Ento returns it for 1 yard to the Montreal 2. So it's 1st and 10 for the Montreal 2. And they have to go 98 yards for a touchdown in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Well, they have it as 2:11. So you're gonna have to throw some deep passes because the field goal ain't gonna get you nothing. Evans rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 5. I guess that gives them a little bit of room. So 2nd and 7. McLeod Bethel Thompson's throws to Speaker. Incomplete. So it's 3rd and 7, and they would have to go for it on 3rd and 7. Like, I'm sorry, McLeod Bethel Thompson is not a CFL backup caliber quarterback anymore. I mean, he's what? 16 for 29. So, like, I mean, they've played, I don't know how many quarterbacks this year. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete, turnover on downs, 1st and goal from the Montreal 5. Montreal fans got to be happy that Davis Alexander start next week. Peters rushes for 0 yards to the Montreal 5, so it's going to be 2nd and goal at the Montreal 5. Still not across. So he rushes for 4 yards, so he's at the 1. Come on. So Castillo kicks a 9-yard field goal to make it 19-10. So that's basically a 2-score game with 1:02 left. You know, at this point, game's over. I'm not even going to worry about updating it. So just think, if BC beats Saskatchewan, that means that Winnipeg and Montreal will be playing each other again in Montreal next week. But if BC loses, that means that it will be Nathan Rourke versus Davis Alexander, which will be a headline for next week. Oh. High tackle around the neck, I would have thought, like, that would have been a high tackle. So McLeod Bethel Thompson throws to Philpott for 28 yards to the Montreal 55. Kelly with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Montreal 55. Throws incomplete to Austin Mack. So it's second and 10 from the 55, 36 seconds left. McLeod Bethel Thompson throws incomplete to Charleston Rambo. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 at the Montreal 55. 32 seconds left. Jenkins with the pressure on McLeod Bethel Thompson. Turnover on downs. So it's all up to BC now. Wilson does victory formation. Victory formation again. And then victory formation for the third time, and the game is over. Final Winnipeg 19, Montreal 10. And it will take the last game of the season, BC and Saskatchewan, to determine the playoffs for next weekend. Let's go with team stats. We have Montreal, 34 plays for 182 yards, 5.4 on average. 23 passing plays for 92 yards on 4 on average. 16 rushing attempts for 64 yards, 4 on average. Winnipeg, 29 attempts for 174 and 6 on average. We have 2 team losses for Montreal for 10 yards. 6 team losses for Wilson, 29 yards. 52 plays in total for Montreal, 236 yards net offense, 4.5 on average. 59 plays for Winnipeg, 237 yards, 4 on average. We have 9 rushes, 5 passes, 1 penalty for first down for Montreal. 4 rushes, 10 passes, and 2 penalties for first down for Winnipeg. 3 sacks for Montreal for 26 yards, 2 sacks for Winnipeg, 10 yards. Montreal is 6 for 20 for 30% on second down. Winnipeg was 6 for 23 for 26.1%. Montreal was 1 fumble, 1 interception, and 2 DNS giveaways. Winnipeg was 1 fumble, 1 interception, 1 fumble, and 1 fumble for loss for Montreal. Same with Winnipeg at 1-1. 3 penalties for Montreal for 35 yards, 4 penalties for Winnipeg for 28 yards. Winnipeg is 0-1 in the red zone. Montreal was 0-1 in the red zone. Winnipeg was 1 for 4 for 25%. Montreal has 1 tackle for loss. Montreal has 1 interception for 13 yards. Winnipeg has 1 interception for 11 yards. 1 fumble for 0 yards, 1 fumble for 42 yards for Winnipeg. Montreal is 3 for 3 for 35 yards is the longest. Winnipeg is 4 for 6, 48 is the longest. Montreal has 8 punts for 391 yards, 48.9 is the average. Winnipeg has 6 punts for 295 yards, 49.2 on the average. We have 6 punt returns for 50 yards, average of 8.3 for Montreal. 6 punts for 57 yards on average, or 57 yards for an average of 9.5 for Winnipeg. 2 kickoff returns for 34 yards, average of 17 for Montreal, and 1 kickoff return for 28 yards for Winnipeg. 1 missed field goal for 12 yards for Montreal, and then Montreal had 26 minutes and 23 seconds for time of possession, and Winnipeg had 33 minutes and 37 seconds of time of possession. That is going to be the game for now. I'm going to go get a bite to eat, and then we'll be back in 53 minutes at the top of the hour for the second game between BC and Saskatchewan to determine both semifinal games for next week. But this is Rick from Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.